This is from the Journal of Arachnology, Volume 34, from 2006. The article is by Fred Punzo. The title of the article is Types of Shelter Sites Used by the Giant Whip Scorpion Mastigoproctus giganteus in a Habitat Characterized by Hard Adobe Soils. In accordance with the grand tradition of accompanying invertebrate-related media with technomusic, here is Mark Norabuena's original composition to provide some oral interest. Mastigoproctus giganteus is commonly known as the giant whip scorpion or vinegaroon, and is common to the southern USA, South America, Cuba, and Mexico. They are arachnids, but only walk on 6 legs, using the anterior legs as sensory appendages sensitive to chemical and tactile stimuli. They have a multi-segmented tail that is also used as a sensory structure. Vinegaroons are most famous for their ability to spray a vinegar-like secretion from their pygidial glands in their rear end. Vinegaroons are nocturnal hunters, seeking shelter during the day. They are commonly found in sand-loil combination soil, where they construct burrows. They are unlikely to be found in areas characterized by harder soil types. Dr. Punzo conducted his research in Burro Mesa, located in Big Bend National Park in western Texas. This is in an area of the Chihuahuan Desert composed mostly of hard adobe soils, but vinegaroons are found here. The purpose of this study was to identify the preferred shelter types in an area that does not allow for burrowing. Dr. Punzo conducted his research during June and July of 2001. 3 30-meter transects were chosen randomly within a 1 kilometer radius of Burro Mesa. Vinegaroons were hand-collected during daylight hours. The body length of each individual was recorded, as well as the air temperature outside the shelter, the type of shelter, the depth, width, and height of the crevice, and whether the shelter was located in full sun, shade, or in a sun-shade mosaic. A total of 456 vinegaroons were collected, and a number of potential shelters were also counted within each transect. Plant debris was searched under for vinegaroons as well. Dr. Punzo found that most vinegaroons favored rock crevices over plant debris or previously unoccupied burrows. 41% of available crevices were occupied, 7% of available plant covers were occupied, and only 3% of burrows were occupied. It seems that in areas with hard adobe soil, vinegaroons favor rock crevices for 2 main reasons. 1. Available burrows are likely to have been dug by rodents or shrews, who commonly make a meal of arthropods. And plant debris, while not as likely to be occupied by predators, do not seem to provide enough shelter from the heat of the sun. Arthropods are ectotherms and unable to regulate their own body temperature, and the ambient temperature under plant debris has been shown in previous studies to be too hot to allow an ectotherm to maintain body temperature. This holds true for other desert arthropods observed during the course of the study. Sulfogeids, wolf spiders, tarantulas, and centipedes all preferred rock shelters over burrows or plant debris. Dr. Punzo only observed harvester ants, velvet ants, and the desert millipede out between the hours of 12 and 2 p.m., and saw no vinegaroons at all between 6:45 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. I found this study to be very interesting because it shows that many species, especially arthropods, will live outside of their optimal niche if it is at all possible. Vinegaroons are normally predicted to be absent in areas with hard soil, but Dr. Punzo has clearly shown that they are capable of finding alternate shelters. It is possible to find many species outside of their typical range, exhibiting behavioral changes, such as adaptations to their less than perfect living situation. Sheltering in unusual places, feeding on atypical food sources, or utilizing different defense tactics are all behavioral changes that are easily observable using the transect method Dr. Punzo used for this study. I hope that more studies that are inspired by this article to search out invertebrates living inventive lives in unusual habitats. Colonizing new habitats is one behavior that has led to the evolution of new species. Perhaps events such as human encroachment on natural areas or geological events are creating new habitats and therefore stimulating evolution. If anything, this study teaches anyone with arachnophobia that arachnids are everywhere, especially where you'd least suspect.